Hi, my name is Quanation, and welcome to my book corner where I talk to you about books or series that I recently read. This book is called Respectfully Kennedy. It's the second book to Disrespectfully Relic, and it is by Antoinette Sherell. Now, I don't really remember what Disrespectfully Relic was about. I do remember reading I remember reading Art of Hood Love, Savvy, Lessons from a Hidden Treasure, Art of Hood Love, Shabu, and Art of Hood Love, the finale. I remember reading those, and I just don't really remember what they're about. I remember some of the characters, but that's literally it. We talking about Respectfully Kennedy. I don't even remember if I liked Kennedy in any of these other books, but I know I didn't like Relic. I feel like this book really explained Relic better than his own book, if I could remember it. But let me not even say that. I feel like this book really into, dove into Relic himself and why he acts a certain way. Like in the other books, we've read that his father was an ancient and then basically molded him into what he is today, and his mother is an ancient mama either. She's an ancient mama because she left her child behind to live with this crazy ass nigga that she know was a crazy ass nigga and then took her other two kids. But that's neither here nor there. Other two or other one, I think it was other two, took her other two and left Relic. And I think she loved him because he looks exactly like his father, from what I heard. But anyways, in this book, so much went on in this book. Kennedy got set up by this nigga that she was fucking on. I think this happened in Disrespectfully Relic. She got set up, and it just, Kennedy already been through a lot because she was burnt up in a fire that Relic was the reason it even happened. And not like burnt up real bad, but she did sustain injuries. And y'all, I think she found out that Relic was the reason why she ends up with burns on her face and stuff like that. So she plays him throughout this whole book so beautifully. Okay, now I know I usually go into it, but it was a whole bunch going on, so I might hop from detail to detail, not really going from beginning to end. Okay, so much has happened in this book. I'm still sitting here like reeling from it. I should have just did this review without looking at TikTok, but anyways, here we are. Kennedy and Relic decided to have a business relationship. That's what they call it, right? And I think it started in Disrespectfully Relic, right? They decided to have a business relationship and continue it on in this book, right? However, it slowly kind of dips into a real relationship, instead of it just being business. They slowly go into a real relationship. They start, we are partners in this. We help each other out when we're going through our situations mentally, and we run everything by each other, yada yada yada. Relic is preparing for himself to go to prison. He already knows he's going to prison because of the things he done when it comes to drug trafficking and things like that. He already knows that they have shit on him that's gonna give him prison time, so he's trying to get everything prepared. Right now, at the end of the book, they're hunching, they're fucking, and once they're done, he's like, okay, he says shit. So she's looking back at him like, what's going on, right? Once they're done, he tells her, okay, they're coming for me, they're about to come to the house, right? And she's like, okay, well, I guess, the run is over. I guess we're done. We're leaving, yada, yada, yada. He's like, oh, you ain't going nowhere. You just going to leave me when all this is going on. And she's like, yo, we had an agreement, yada, yada, yada. And she decides to leave. Now, before all of this happened, right, he had hit one of his with artists on his company, his music company, music label. He had one of his artists fake kidnapped so that he could get some other people, right, that shot at his brother and all of that. He handled who needed to be handled, right? So he had the artist kidnapped, And when he had the artist kidnapped, he was on the phone acting his ass off. He needed a fucking Oscar. Okay, he was acting his ass off, right? Even Kennedy told him that, right? Right. Now, after this whole situation, he was like, we're gonna go to the courthouse. I want you to basically have temporary custody of his son Ja whilst he's in prison. He's gonna hook her up. She has money, yada yada yada. Like, he's taking care of shit and putting his ducks in line so that when he goes to prison, everybody is taken care of, right? Even though his brothers is like, I won't be able to, how are we gonna be able to handle and live without you? Like, we can't do that. And he's like, we gotta do what you gotta do. He had his brother and his brother's girlfriend, well, fiance, baby mama, they had a fake marriage, fake wedding, so that he could see it, because their real wedding he wouldn't be able to see because he'll be in prison. So I feel like at the end, right, he tells his brother that they got married, right? I feel like they set up a plan together. Okay, they set up a plan. They understood things were going to happen because they both think the same. They set up a plan. You act like this, you do this, you take job, you do exactly what the fuck I tell you to do and get gone. And then when they ask about you, I'm gonna act a fucking fool and act like I don't know where you at and you just left me. I feel like they've had this conversation that when it happens, do what I need you to do. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna do it. They got married before this, the weekend before this happened, so they're now wife and husband, right? They're husband and wife now. So things that he wanted done, she's gonna make sure it's done. She's acting like she's leaving him, but she's not actually leaving him. They're not actually leaving him. She's gonna do exactly what the fuck they had planned. That's how I feel. Because it was a lot going on, but they always made sure that even though there was some points where communication was off, so this one thought about this one thought about that, and sometimes Relic really went off his motherfucking rocker and she was able to pull his ass back, but they both think similarly. That's why they work so well together, and I think they've made a plan. So yes, she's crying at the end, like she's making it seem like she's crying because she's leaving him, but I think at the end she's crying because he's going to prison and she's gonna miss him. That's her man, and she now has to handle some of the things on her own. You get what I'm saying? Even though Shabu was like, he's gonna off her because he should have been offed Kennedy. He should have offed her when he seen that she was the girl that ended up being in the fire of the old hair salon or whatever the case may be. So I feel like this could all like be a scheme Todd set up at the end. But it really pissed me off that she like up and left him, like, oh, okay, we're done. Like, this is your husband, bitch. Where is you going? And his child. You just gonna leave his child behind? And then it was a whole bunch of chaos at the end, and it was just too sad. Like, I hated it. And then Savvy ended up being arrested because she was helping Relic out with his indiscretions and shit. And it just, and then Shabu was losing his mind at the end because not only is his wife in jail, but so is his damn brother, his older brother. Like, so much is going on. Like, it's packed with stuff, and like, even though there's like a lot of parts had me cackling, like it was funny as hell. And then there's parts where you're learning about Kennedy and her past, and you're learning about, speaking of Kennedy and her past, she thought that the man that she was, Ezekiel, was her ex, right? And she thought that it was because of her why her brother ended up dead, Coda, right? That Ezekiel was the reason. But it turns out it wasn't Ezekiel who set up her brother. It was actually Ezekiel's second hand. I forgot his name. Sarge. I think it's Sarge. Sarge set up Coda because Coda was fucking on a bitch that he liked, ended up getting her pregnant. And the girl wanted nothing to do with Sarge. She just wanted to be with Coda. Come to find out, Kennedy has a niece she knew nothing about. She didn't even know that he was fucking on a bitch. And so Sarge was mad because not only did he get the bitch that he liked pregnant, but he asked him if he could be his second hand, and Cody said bitch no and laughed in his face. So he had him set up. So Relic brought both of them as a gift to her. At first she thought it was Ezekiel, but really it ended up being Sarge. And then they ended up offering Sarge. I also feel like she should be careful around that nigga Sonny, because he likes to rob people. And when he was calling her, oh, can we live together, yada yada yada, because his brother is Sarge, can we live together, yada yada yada, it was a little iffy. I feel like she should not get too close to that nigga whatsoever. Stay away from him. Stay far away from him and his family, because if you seen his brother was a shicey ass nigga, then what you think about him? Especially if the brother find out that you was the cause of his demise. Of his brother's demise, I mean. Yeah, it was a lot. Y'all gotta go ahead and read it if you have not read it. If you have read it, child. First of all, Little, he was funny as hell. The thing is, he was getting to the point. Like, he was getting all the tea. He was asking all the right questions. But not only that, he also was very nosy. So he was getting all the information. He was getting all the tea and asking the right questions to get the tea. You know, he was getting the tea behind the scenes and getting the tea on the scene. You feel me? And I thought that was funny as hell. Funny as hell. I love this crew. I love the book. Antoinette, you did your thing. I can't wait for you to come out with the next book, because girl, I'm like sitting on the edge of my seat. It was so good. Anyways, please like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, bye.